Okay, so, first off, happy Easter. This is not an Easter-themed video. I didn't plan on doing an Easter-themed video, but since I'm recording it right now, I feel like I might as well say that. Speaking of things that had an unexpected revival, the end of RWBY Volume 9 came out today. Or maybe technically yesterday. I didn't know about it until maybe 30 minutes ago, and I just finished watching it. So, apparently this was supposed to be the actual ending and epilogue and the final episode to RWBY Volume 9. And it had to be cut for time, it had to be cut for assets. And apparently it is going to be retooled and written and completed, because this was an animatic. It wasn't a full, it wasn't fully animated yet, but it was fully voice acted, and the RWBY voice acting is really, really good. And I know we just have the character meeting for the whole series, especially by this point. I feel like it can definitely be rocky at times, especially in some of the earlier volumes, but I feel like once the show, found its footing, the voice acting was, consistently really good, even in some of the seasons I don't care for as much. I'm kind of mixed on it, and let me just say up front, I think it's really, really good. I like a lot of the stuff that we see. Really, the reason I'm torn on it is I don't know how much I like it as the ending of Volume 9, but I think it's a phenomenal start to Volume 10. I feel like thematically and tonally, it does fit a lot with Volume 9. Volume 9 is very much about loss. It's about being very self-reflective and trying to be better and move on from your mistakes. That's a lot of what this is about. It is about everyone who escaped Atlas dealing with the loss of their friends, because I think it starts with there's a memorial for Team RWBY and Jean, and Nora's saying, well, we buried our friends today. I mean, there's nothing really to bury, but, we had to do something so we can try to move on. This is what we're going through now, and it's not easy. And Nora gets a section, Oscar gets a section about how his assimilation with Ozpin is going, and the Oscar part of him is very much being whittled away at this point. You have Ren talking about genuinely how much he misses Jean. And he's like, I don't know how you kept us all together, because we are falling apart over here. You've got, who was it after Ren? I think after Ren is when it went to Winter, because the way I watched it was kind of weird, where I watched the last 6 minutes, and that was everything with Winter onwards, and then I was able to see the full version, and believe it or not, the full version's way better, because you get more, shit, and you get, more of a completed picture. Sorry, I just finished watching, I don't have any notes for this. You get Winter talking about, specifically talking to Weiss, and about, losing, just, how the Schnee family is doing, specifically her, their mother, and Whitley. You get Crow, I believe Crow is the last one. And Robin shows Crow this memorial, and it's not just, the grave memorial, it's this picture of RWBY, with these candles by it, and it says, remember her message, talking about the message she gave for humanity to unite back in Atlas. That was at the end of season, I'm trying to remember, was that at the end of season 7 or season 8? No, it was the end of season 8, because her whole story in season 8 is, I am trying to get here so I can send the message. And, they see that memorial, and then a portal ends up opening up. Raven walks out, and then outside of the portal walk Team RWBY and Jean. And Nora and crew, end up walking in, seeing them. Nora just immediately starts crying. And, that's how it ends. Or no, I think there's like one final scene of like all these like fucking airships and shit in the frame, and Crow saying like, "Ruby, this is what you did. Like, we remembered your message for humanity and for unity," and just finished watching Friendship's Magic for harmony and all that, and you know, it's like, we took it to heart. You don't understand. Actually, no, I think, no, we see that before they show up. He's like, I wish you could have seen the good that you guys did, because you did a lot. And like that's what happens. That's how it ends. And again, I feel like as an ending to Volume 9, it fits very tonally, and because no one besides Team RWBY, Jean, and Neo were in Volume 9, it at least is kind of a good way of showing, like, this is what happened to everybody. But that's kind of why I don't like it as the end of 9 and more as the start of 10. What I love about Volume 9 is that it's just about Team RWBY and Jean. And again, like, Neapolitan is here too. It feels like it is... it's not like a reboot by any means, but it feels like it's a back to basics. We're not dealing with the overall big plot. Nothing with Ozpin and his secrets. Nothing with Salem and like, going for these artifacts. Nothing with Cinder. It is just these 5 people that you know very well dealing with all the shit that happened to them on the way to Atlas and in Atlas. And I like that it's just about them. Again, I like the overall plot. I like following it. I want to see what's going to happen. That's why I really want to see Volume 10 and beyond. I really do like a lot of the other characters. But Volume 9's smaller scale made it feel a lot more personal. And I've talked about it, how Volume 9, RWBY's arc in particular, felt very personal to me. And it's not like, oh yeah, adding this as an epilogue would have like overcomplicated things, because no, it's a fucking epilogue. But just me personally, I like it better as the start of Volume 10. It's like, okay, now we are in Vacuo. Let's catch up with everybody. This is what it's been like for them in Vacuo after the fall of Atlas. And then the first episode would end with Team RWBY showing back up. I really, really like that. The other reason I'm glad this wasn't the ending of Volume 9 is I feel like this is when fans of RWBY really needed to see this. When I first watched the animatic, like I said, like it was a shorter video on YouTube, and it was specifically, I think, of someone like at the RTX. I think that's like Rooster Teeth convention. I could be wrong about that. Maybe the X is for like experience. I don't know. But it was of someone like in the crowd recording it, and I got to hear some crowd reactions. And hearing like, given what is going on with RWBY behind the scenes right now, which from my understanding is Volume 10 had not been greenlit, and it still isn't. And then Warner Brothers cut ties with Rooster Teeth, and now while they still want to finish the series, and fans want them to finish the series, no one's really sure how to do it yet. But from my understanding, they are still working, they're trying to like find partners for it. And believe it or not, as someone who recently binged the show and want to see the conclusion to all this, I kind of hope they're successful in finishing RWBY. But the Remember Her message hits a lot harder, at least for me. I feel like in the context of the episode, like this is at the end of season 9, I think it's still good, and I think it still works. Seeing it right now, yeah, that hit me a lot harder than it would have otherwise. And seeing the portal open, which, again, I'm a Raven stan. Mama Bronwyn does things to me, let me just say that. So, like, seeing Raven come back, like, that got me really excited, and, like, she and Crow just kind of share a quick look, and, like, I liked that a lot. But seeing Team RWBY and Jean walk out of that portal like this was a scene from fucking Avengers Endgame, and the crowd going wild, again, in the context of what's going on, seeing them show up and just how happy everyone was to see them again hits a lot harder. I sincerely hope that more or less this is going to be the start of Volume 10. I hope Volume 10 fucking happens. This was really good, and I'm very, very glad I got to see it.